G'day cocktail lovers. Going in the book this week is another of my favorite cocktails. This made my top 10 in 2024. It's called the Elixir Tropicale. The original recipe actually won a Bacardi cocktail competition a few years back to an Italian bartender, Maurizio La Spina. Apologies to that man if I just grossly mispronounced his name. It won a competition. I tried it. I really liked it. Although I do have to admit, I'm not going to be using Bacardi rum in this. Not saying Bacardi make no good rums, but their default white rum is Besides which, I like to support local, so I'm going to be using local white rums. In fact, I'm going to have a little bit of fun. The default recipe had 60 mils of white rum, but I'm going to mix things up a bit. That was a cocktail pun. I like to experiment, and I think you should too. I think cocktail recipes should be like signposts that lead you to where you're going, not some holy scripture that cannot be altered one iota. I'm not saying bartenders don't put a lot of work into their recipes. They do, and it is always worth learning from people with more experience and expertise. But you can keep the balance of cocktails while changing around some of the ingredients. It just takes a bit of practice. If you don't get it right the first time, that's what we call a learning experience. It's only a waste if you don't learn from it. For my version of the cocktail, I'm going to split the base, starting by upping the tropical elements by using some coconut rum. In fact, my homemade coconut rum, which is quite easy to do. Just get some sweetened condensed coconut milk, mix it with some white rum, let it sit for a couple of days, shake it every now and then to make sure it's all mixing in, and then when you're ready, strain it through a coffee filter to get rid of the sediment, and you have a nice coconut rum liqueur. It's got a great texture, tastes way better than Malibu. That's a pretty low bar, by the way. This coconut rum tastes great, but besides adding the coconut flavor and sweetness, it does actually dilute the rum, dropping the alcohol content. So to kick it up a notch, I am going to combine it with a local high-proof rum from the Killick distillery. Clocks in at 59% ABV or 118 proof. And look, check it out. It won gold at the World Rum Awards. The third alcohol content in the cocktail is the maraschino liqueur, and we've got the sweeteners and bitters to go in there as well. But that's all the ins and outs. I'll show you now how to make it. In a shaker, I'm putting 30 mils of my coconut rum, then 30 mils, 1 ounce of my high proof white rum, then half an ounce or 15 mils of lime juice, and 2/3 of an ounce or 20 mils of orgeat, then 1/4 of an ounce, 7.5 mils of maraschino liqueur, then 3 dashes of bitters, aromatic bitters, and I'm dropping in 3 mint leaves. Add ice to the shaker, shake that for 10 to 15 seconds to chill and dilute the drink. Then I'm fine straining that into a chilled Nick and Nora glass, and you can garnish that with some freshly grated nutmeg if you like. You can see it picks up quite a bit of colour from the aromatic bitters, so even visually it looks quite different to a standard daiquiri, but let's give it a taste. Oh, it is living up to my memories. This is a smooth, creamier feeling drink than a standard daiquiri, and those mint leaves are a nice touch. I did the fine straining because shaking with the mint leaves tends to shred them up, and I didn't want little bits of mint leaf in the glass. Maybe you like that sort of thing. If you do, don't fine strain it. This is sweeter than a regular daiquiri with the orgeat and the maraschino liqueur, but it isn't too sweet, and they both add a bit of nutty complexity in there as well, which is nice, which I think is one of the things that pushed it up into my favorites list for 2024. This is a very easy drinking cocktail. I think it'd be a real crowd pleaser if you're having a party. Hey, if you like doing the frozen version of cocktails and you have the blender, go for it. Not really my thing, but if you got a good blender and the will, I say go for it. Whether you're having it as a one-off or kickstarting a party with it, I really think this would appeal to a very broad range of drinkers. It's sweet, it's got the rum in there, it's got a lot going on. And like I said, it's a bit softer than a daiquiri as well, so a bit more approachable for some people, but it's got great flavors. It is still one of my favorites. It's called the Elixir Tropicale. Cheers.